I'm your boy TC. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm excited for this episode we're doing this week because I'm with a phenomenal, inspiring, motivational woman. She is a great ambassador. But before I get to her introduction, as always, I want to make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We want to continue to bring you good financial content when we're talking about financial literacy with TC. We want to make sure we're representing having Black representation when we talk about all things finances. So with that being said, guys, welcome to another episode, and we're going to jump right into it. Before we get started, as you can see, we are on location. I definitely want to give a shout out to Credit Power LLC. They were so kind enough to let us use this episode, and we're going to dive into who owns this space. And we're going to jump right in. So my guest today, she really doesn't need an introduction for those who know her, but I'm going to do my best anyway. So my guest today is an author. She's a credit expert. She's a real estate investor. She's an active economic community development. She's a mother, grandmother, a veteran. She's a CEO of My Business Space, a motivational speaker, a mentor.
Wow.
She also owns a business called Higher Power Homes. And she also has what you see behind me. She's the owner of Credit Power LLC. And I want you guys to, make sure you show your love and show admiration and just be in awe of an amazing, phenomenal woman that I have in front of me. And honestly, I don't even think I covered everything that you are. But I want to take the time, and I want to introduce Dr. Bey to you guys. Thank you, Dr.Bey, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And
I
hope I did you justice.
You did.
I wanted to bring energy and I wanted to bring excitement because that's who your personality is. For those who don't know you, and I just wanted to make sure I did you justice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me here. Right. Financial literacy with TC, baby. Yes. Thank you so much. Not baby like that, but that's the part of what I say. Thank Absolutely. You so much for inviting me to be on your podcast. Yes, you said a lot. You said a mouthful, and thank you for that great introduction. So yeah, we can move right on in. Okay. I mean, you said so much. I don't want to bore the people with who I am. So,
no, not at all. So let's start with we have your beautiful website behind us. So let's talk about Credit Power LLC. Just give people some insight on how that came to be. What was your vision? How you established it. Just letting them know what Credit Power LLC is all about.
Well, Credit Power LLC is a credit restoration company that's dedicated to improving the financial health of our communities through credit education, credit repair, and focused financial management. And Credit Power started in 2014 in Alexandria, Virginia. Okay. That's where our first location is. And then we rented a spot on the Hill District, the historical Hill District, where I'm from, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then we bought this space in 2019. So yeah, it's a credit restoration company. Yes.
That's awesome. I love that because I'm a firm believer that, credit is a big thing in our society nowadays. And a lot of times in the Black community, we have a tendency not to understand the significance of having good credit. Or at least in my experience with my background in banking, I see people who, they feel that their credit is in the 400, 300s, and they just feel like, oh, I can never bring it back up to where it needs to be. So with that being said, my guess is, my question for you, is why is it important for individuals to understand how credit works, and what are the most common misconceptions people have about building their credit?
So I think it's crucial for people to understand credit because credit helps empower people to manage their finances.
Absolutely.
It helps them to get approved for loans. Absolutely. And it contributes to their overall financial health.
Right.
Yes. And a few misconceptions about credit, you said?
Yeah.
People tend to think that when they look at their own credit or they pull their own credit,
Right.
that their score will drop.
Yep.
And that's not the case. When people pull their own credit, it's called a soft inquiry. Now, there's a hard inquiry and there's a soft inquiry. When you pull your own credit, it's a soft inquiry. It has no effect to your credit report or score. But a hard inquiry, it will definitely drop your score anywhere from around about 2 to 11 points, depending on what's inside of the credit report itself. So
Right.
That's a misconception. People think that when they pull their own credit, their score will drop. It's not.
Gotcha. No, and that's significant for people to understand because, like you said, a lot of times individuals, when they go, and especially me having my background in banking, I understand that a lot of times the person that is in front of me, the customer, I'm like, I can tell within a few minutes if they are educated about the loan process. And you know what I mean? And as you know, if you're going into a financial institution and, they feel like you're not educated enough, they can be throwing jargon words at you that you're not, in banking terminology that you're not familiar with. And it can make you feel like your head's spinning because, and I'm like, well, credit is very important. So I love that you take the time to, explain that to people and let them know like, hey, you can get educated on how to better your credit and you can do so by joining Credit Power LLC.
Oh, yes.
All right. So that was excellent when it comes to explaining that because I feel like that's definitely needed for people to understand, especially in the Black community. My next question for you, improving credit. What are 3 actionable steps someone who has poor credit can take today to improve their credit score?
Well, what they can do is make sure they pay their bills on time.
Yeah.
Don't be late.
For sure.
As I taught my grandson to say, don't overspend on your credit cards. To keep your utilization low. Right. I'm not saying that you can't spend, but manage your finances. When you use a credit card, use it after the statement closing date if you can.
Right.
That way, when it comes around for it to be due, you can make sure that you pay it off without being late, without that extra interest. And you can manage that credit score because your score goes up or down according to the balance that's on your credit report. So you want to make sure that it's close to 0 as possible when that statement closes.
Absolutely.
And that will help, increase your credit score significantly. Yes. And it can be within 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, whenever that statement closing date is.
Got you. No, and honestly, y'all, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. That's the only 2 credit tips you get. And if you need more, you gotta connect with Dr.Bey and Credit Power LLC. So I'm gonna take the time to make sure you guys see the website. Like I said, I love the website. It's creditpowerllc.com. What we're talking about here is so significant, so important. So I wanted to make sure we had that highlighted to you guys. Like always, I'm going to have all Dr. Bey's contact information, her social media platforms, her handles in the description. So you can definitely connect with her because it's so significant. But we ain't about to give y'all all the sauce. I just wanted to give y'all 2 little nice ones.